Are you ready for the moment that completely flipped the entire narrative around Team USA? Because what just happened isn't just surprising, it's the kind of shift that exposes everything fans have been questioning for weeks. Caitlin Clark walked into international play and didn't just perform, she detonated expectations, shattered records, and forced the world to pay attention. 5 records in her very first game. Not 1, not 2, 5. That's not a good debut, that's a historic takeover. And yet somehow, unbelievably, she wasn't rewarded with control of the offense. She was pulled back, rotated out, and treated like just another name on a roster full of talent. Under Kara Lawson, the system didn't elevate the most dominant player, it diluted her impact. The pace slowed. The energy dropped. The flow disappeared. Fans weren't imagining it, the numbers screamed it. When Clark ran the offense, everything clicked: speed, spacing, ball movement, efficiency. When she didn't, the machine stalled. And still, questions about her role were dodged, redirected, buried under safe talk about team balance and everyone shining. But let's be real, when one player is rewriting record books in real time, you don't dim that light, you build around it. Instead, the system tried to suppress it. And that's where the frustration turned into something bigger. Because this wasn't just a rotation choice, it felt like a philosophy that refused to acknowledge what was right in front of it. Meanwhile, Clark stayed silent. No complaints. No drama. Just production. Elite efficiency. Team-leading assists. Total control whenever she touched the floor. The kind of impact that doesn't need words because it forces the truth into the spotlight whether anyone wants it there or not. And then everything changed. No warning, no build-up, just a sudden shift that hit like a shockwave. Kara Lawson was gone from the sideline, and in stepped Nate Tibbetts. And with one decision, just one, he exposed everything. He put Caitlin Clark in the starting lineup immediately. No hesitation. No speeches. No overthinking. Just a simple, undeniable acknowledgement of reality: your best player leads. And what happened next? Absolute domination. A 55-point blowout that didn't just win a game, it validated everything fans had been saying. The offense came alive. The tempo exploded. The identity of the team finally made sense. Clark didn't just play, she controlled the game with precision, vision, and efficiency that separated her from everyone else on the floor. And then came the moment that hit hardest. Tibbetts stood in front of the world and said it plainly: not starting her before was a mistake. That wasn't coach speak. That was accountability. That was truth breaking through politics, hesitation, and failed philosophy. And suddenly, the contrast became impossible to ignore. One system held her back. The other unleashed her, and instantly reaped the results. Add in her growing chemistry with rising stars like Paige Buchers, the improved flow, the smarter rotations, and the undeniable fact that Team USA now looks faster, sharper, and more dangerous, and you start to realize this isn't just a hot streak. This is a turning point. Because while debates rage about coaching decisions and future leadership, one thing is no longer up for discussion: Caitlin Clark isn't just part of this team, she is the engine. And now that she's finally been given control, the rest of the world might not be ready for what comes next. And just when it felt like the story couldn't get any more intense, the deeper truth started revealing itself. This wasn't just about one lineup change or one dominant win, this was about identity, power, and a system finally being forced to confront reality. Because once Caitlin Clark was given full control, everything that had been hidden behind rotation strategy and team balance got exposed in real time. The offense didn't just improve, it transformed. The ball started moving with purpose, not hesitation. Every possession had intent, every cut had timing, every pass had vision behind it. This wasn't random success. This was structure built around the one player who sees the game 2 steps ahead of everyone else. And suddenly, players who looked average before started thriving. Shooters found space. Cutters found lanes. The entire system unlocked because the right player was finally running it. That's what elite playmaking does. It doesn't just elevate your stats, it elevates everyone around you. And that's exactly what Clark has been doing this entire time, whether the system allowed it or not. The numbers only make it more undeniable. Leading in efficiency. Leading in assists. Dominating plus-minus across the entire tournament. Not just Team USA, every roster, every player, every country. That's not hype, that's dominance backed by cold, hard production. And she's doing it after an injury layoff, while still regaining full rhythm, while still not even at 100%. Let that sink in. This isn't her peak, this is her baseline right now. And while all of that is happening, she's still drawing defensive pressure like no one else, still forcing teams to collapse, still creating opportunities that don't show up in highlight reels but completely dictate the outcome of games. That's not a volume scorer. That's a system. That's a player who becomes the structure every team builds around whether they admit it or not. And now the pressure shifts completely. Because this is no longer about whether Nate Tibbetts made the right decision, he already proved that in one game. The real question now is what happens next. Because once you unlock something like this, you can't pretend it didn't happen. You can't go backward. You can't suddenly return to a system that limits your most impactful player and expect the same results. That door is closed. And if Kara Lawson returns, she's not walking back into the same situation, she's walking into a reality that has already been redefined in front of the world. Fans have seen the difference. Analysts have seen the difference. The players themselves have felt the difference on the court. The pace, the energy, the confidence, it all changes when the right leader has the ball in her hands. And then there's the chemistry factor, the piece that might end up being even more dangerous long-term. The connection between Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers is starting to look real, fast, fluid, instinctive. Two high IQ players reading the same game in real time, making decisions without hesitation, punishing defenses that can't commit to stopping both. That's not just a lineup, that's a problem for every team they face. And when you combine that with the fact that Clark is already controlling tempo, dictating pace, and leading the most explosive version of this team we've seen so far, it becomes clear that this isn't just a tournament storyline anymore. This is the beginning of a shift. A shift in hierarchy. A shift in philosophy. A shift in who this team belongs to when the lights are brightest. Because the truth is no longer debatable, it's visible every time she steps on the floor. Caitlin Clark isn't just proving people wrong, she's making it impossible for them to ignore what was right in front of them all along. And now comes the part of the story that nobody inside that locker room, or outside of it, can ignore anymore, because this isn't building quietly in the background, it's exploding into the center of everything. What Caitlin Clark is doing right now isn't just about stats, wins, or highlight plays, it's about control. Complete, undeniable control over the rhythm of the game. Every possession bends to her decisions. Every defense reacts to her presence. And once that kind of gravity takes over, the entire structure of a team changes whether coaches planned for it or not. This is where the separation becomes undeniable. Because while other players contribute, while others have moments, Clark dictates outcomes. She decides how fast the game moves, where the ball goes, who gets the shot, and when the pressure hits its breaking point. That's not something you fit into a system, that is the system. And the most powerful part? She's doing it without forcing anything. No unnecessary shots. No wasted movement. Just precision. Efficiency. Execution at a level that turns elite competition into something that looks almost manageable. And that's exactly why the earlier decisions now look even more questionable. Because it's not just that she could have been leading from the start, it's that the team clearly needed her to. Every slow possession before, every clunky offensive stretch, every moment where the team looked out of sync, it all